Hey guys, welcome back to another What If Here. Today we are doing part 1 to What If Kakashi adopted Naruto redo. I'm remaking this slash redoing it as it was done I think over 5 or 6 months ago, maybe even longer. I think, even maybe a year or so ago. I think because it only had low views, I think 100 or that. And so I somewhat looking through them, I was like, let me, because I only had one part to the series. I thought, I'll just see if you guys wanted this, and 4% of you out of the poll that I put wanted this, and it was higher than what if Naruto had an unknown Dojutsu redo part 1, and so this one comes today, Friday, and yeah, and so, let's get into it. Now, of course, we'd start the night of the Nine-Tails attack just after minutes after, as Hiruzen and Dry would be talking to one another. Well, it'd be an hour after, as Hiruzen had told cancel, more so his somewhat two advisors and done so that Naruto would be possibly going to either an orphan. Well, he wouldn't be going to an orphanage, he'd be put under some Ombu watch and care in an apartment. And he was now somewhat asking Dry if he'd take Naruto because he's the child's godfather after all. Though he'd said that he couldn't because of his spy network, and especially now that Konoha was vulnerable and weaker, that he'd have to be out there and probably active for at least maybe 5, 6, 10 years or so, maybe longer, to make sure that none of the villagers are going to try and band up and attack Konoha. Here's an aside, and then both of them had heard a knock at the door. They somewhat looked at one another, thinking, did you invite someone that would like to come? As Hiruzen would then look to the door and would say, come in. As a 14-year-old Kakashi would walk in, as he'd look at it and go, did I interrupt something? I can come back later, as Hiruzen would go, no, you haven't. As he would then spot he'd spot the blonde, the baby with blonde hair, and he'd immediately know, as he'd look that aren't they, as the door would shut behind him, and Hiruzen would sign and go, sorry, Kakashi. They are. As Kakashi would just go, and is that that's the child, and the new Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Fox. As Kakashi would just nod, not caring, as he'd go over to the baby, as he'd go, he looks a lot like his mum. He's got his father's hair, but his mother's looks, that's for sure. Kakashi would then look at Hiruzen and go, I will adopt him, and will take care of him. As Hiruzen would hold up his hand, as he'd go, I'm sorry, Kakashi, I would if you were 2 or 3 or even 4 years older, but you're only 14. I can't, and plus you're in Anbu unless you're willing to leave Anbu or wait 2 years, then leave Anbu and take care of Naruto. As Kakashi then look at Hiruzen and would sign and go, fine. Then I'll wait 2 years, but I am adopting Naruto no matter what, I don't care. Hokage-sama, I will adopt him and look after him. He is, well, my sensei's son, and, well, Minato was like a father to me, Kushina was like a mother to me, so Naruto is like a baby brother I never got to have. And so, no matter what, in 2 years I will adopt him. I do promise that in 2 years that I will be able to adopt him, as Hiruzen would think over the promise, knowing that if he made it, he would have to somewhat keep it, as he'd look at Kakashi would somewhat think, because he knows Kakashi obviously he's somewhat in a possibly dark place at the moment, and he'd go, fine, in 2 years you can adopt him. Kakashi would just nod and would proceed to leave, and then leave the office, as Kakashi then somewhat sunshine home and would just collapse on the floor of his apartment, tears coming out of his eyes, as he'd managed to hold it in front of the third Hokage and Jiraiya, but now that he was alone, he cried for the loss of Minato and Kushina. He cared about them a lot. He'd loved them like his actual parents. He never knew his mother, and his father killed himself after a mission, via suicide. Well, yeah, he killed himself as a suicide, and even then, he in a way wasn't much of a father. He somewhat never really gave Kakashi a childhood, and yeah, though, and once he was on Minato, and once he was on Minato's team, and yeah, and that Minato's kind of brought him home one night, as they'd had an overnight mission, and Minato had somewhat had Kakashi having a nightmare, and yeah, though he'd managed to calm Kakashi down from it, he'd realised that Kakashi living alone probably isn't great, so he decided that, well, maybe not, he'd bring Kakashi home with him and see if maybe being around someone, obviously, Kushina and that, could maybe get him to maybe calm down, and for him to somewhat be able to sleep better. And yeah, and once Kakashi had eventually moved out and into his own apartment once he was 12, he still very much thanked them, because it was them that managed to help him get through losing Obito and then Rin. And yeah. Anyway, though, that 2 would go by as Kakashi, first a year would go by and Kakashi had thought Hiruzen would look after Naruto because, not only being a Jinchuriki but was obviously also a son of a Hokage, and as such does very much deserve a proper upbringing. But instead Kakashi had found out in a single year that Naruto was just living alone in a apartment with Anbu somewhat watching him, and it didn't sit well with Kakashi, though he knew that he'd have to wait another year before he could adopt Naruto, and it somewhat annoyed him that Hiruzen would just throw away Minato's legacy, that it was nothing. He pretty much went, well, he ain't my issue, and just threw him out for somebody else to just look after. Yeah. And somehow he somewhat knew almost immediately it was Donzo, and Donzo leaked the information to the villagers, and the villagers all wanted Naruto's death. And it was just, he very much just wanted to just kill the entire council. And Hiruzen could have easily looked after Naruto after all. Yeah, oh well. And Dry had someone come in to say what the other village had been up to, and he then somewhat went to Kakashi because if the boy was planning on adopting Naruto in now a year's time when he turned 16, he would probably somewhat check up on Naruto without Hiruzen's permission, or at least watch him occasionally, so that Kakashi would more than likely give Jiraiya more or less give him the true state of Naruto and how he is, instead of Hiruzen, who might go, he's doing just fine. Yeah. Whereas Kakashi would tell him, he's been okay, but this and this and this has happened, and so Jiraiya thanked Kakashi, and he'd asked Kakashi how Naruto's been, and Kakashi wasn't really that surprised that Jiraiya probably figured out he'd been checking up on Naruto in secret, and he told him, I think he somewhat knew, and even Jiraiya wasn't happy that Naruto was living on his own with Anbu watching him, because he thought, well, his sensei should have looked after Naruto personally. After all, he had agreed. He knew that Hiruzen had agreed to actually look after and raise Naruto. He wasn't doing none of that. He wasn't looking after him, and he definitely wasn't raising him. And obviously even Jiraiya, that his sensei could just throw away Minato's legacy like that. Minato's child, and and he looked at Kakashi and told him that I may not be able to come into, I may not be, either here for long or that every year, but I'll try for at least maybe a day to be here out of the year, to be here for for like to check up on my godson. As Kakashi someone nodded and said, I think that would like that, to know that that is have someone that his parents trust so much, and try and nod and then go, so what are you going to have him call you by, dad, father, or brother? As Kakashi would look at him and go, brother, father, or dad doesn't fit me. I'm very much look at him like a younger brother, so I wouldn't want him to call me dad, and then it would just be too confusing. So I'd want him to look at me like a brother. And when he turns 6, I plan on telling him what he has inside of him. So the nine-tailed fox and his parents, because it's his right to know, and the only reason why I'm waiting until he's 6 and not earlier is because he may not understand the actual gravity of what's kind of going on and why it's so serious, and why you shouldn't be telling someone that he someone random that he may not trust. And Kakashi nodded and go, well, when do you plan on telling him? I know you just had 6, but like a week after his 6th birthday, or when he turned 6, as Kakashi would go, I was thinking a week after his 6th birthday, because it wouldn't exactly be great to know, yes, the fox is still inside you, the one that killed, your mum and your dad, and yes, they're both dead, and it'd be better to have it on a, maybe a week after. As I would nod and go, well, I'll try and be there. I will very much try my hardest to be there on that day. And Kakashi just nodded. And a year went by, and it was Kakashi's birthday. It was his 16th birthday. Kakashi somewhat woke up and thought, it's just another day. He looked at his calendar, and it said, it said on that, my birthday, and underneath it, adopt Naruto 16. And 16, his 16th birthday. So he's 16 years old, and he can now adopt Naruto, and he got dressed in his somewhat Jonin uniform, though his flat jacket was somewhat small, so he'd have to trade that in for a bigger one that now fit him. So he then went to the Hokage's office and knocked on the door. Using then told him to enter, and he'd look, Kakashi, how may I help you? As Kakashi's like, well, for one, today's my birthday. For second, number 2, that means I'm 16 years old, and 3, I'm adopting Naruto. As Hiruzen would somewhat look at him and would just somewhat sigh and go, I told that none of the clans you promised me that I could adopt him, or did you forget? Or do you want to go back on your word that you gave me and Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was here when you promised me that? Are you going to go back on your word? Are you really going to go back on your word and not let me look after Naruto? As as Kakashi would continue to run, and at the end of it, Hiruzen would look down and would go through his drawers before pulling out a piece of paper and giving it to Kakashi and go, Kakashi would immediately look at it and would somewhat obviously right now child's name Naruto Uzumaki. Then obviously your name, Kakashi put his name down, and then do you want the child gender, Naruto male, and then do you wish for the child to take your last name if you have one? Kakashi ticked the box that said no. He saw Naruto as a younger brother. He wasn't going to, Naruto's name is Naruto Uzumaki. He's not going to be, Kakashi wasn't going to change Naruto's name to Naruto Hatake or Naruto Uzumaki Hatake. No. Naruto would stay Uzumaki. And with that, he gave it back to Hiruzen, and Hiruzen just nodded before signing it. And then someone get up and go, I will take you to where he is. Kakashi just nod, and they would walk towards Naruto's place, his somewhat apartment. It would be the apartment as in canon. A while later, Hiruzen and Kakashi would be standing outside and would knock on the door. And with Naruto, he was somewhat in the somewhat living room, just while doing stuff, whatever a 2-year-old would do, walking or just running around like mad. Or whatever, playing with stuff. As you'd then look over, as you'd go, GG, as Hiruzen would somewhat smile and go, hey there, Naruto-kun. As Naruto would then would look at the other person and go, who you are. As Kakashi would somewhat smile and would go, well, I'm Hatake Kakashi. As Naruto would try and say his word but fail, as Kakashi would then somewhat kneel down and go, well, how'd you like if I adopted you? As Naruto would go wide-eyed and go, really? As he'd look over to his GG Hiruzen, as Hiruzen would just somewhat nod, as Naruto would look back to Kakashi, as it goes, so then you'd be my father? As Kakashi would shake his head, would say no, as Naruto would then go, so you're not? I'm adopting you, Naruto, but you can call me brother or Kakashi. Naruto would just somewhat stare at him and would just slightly nod, though he'd throw his hand, he'd run up to Kakashi and would throw his small hands around Naruto and would cry, as he'd never had he'd seen, he somewhat hadn't, but he's just happy that he would now have someone, he'd be living with someone who maybe didn't somewhat stare him with hatred, and with that, Kakashi would then pick Naruto up and they would leave. Well, somewhat. Well, yeah, they would somewhat leave, though Kakashi would somewhat state that he'd be back for Naruto's clothes. And yeah, Kakashi would then show him Naruto where he lives, though Kakashi had moved since then from a single bedroom apartment to a 2-bedroom apartment. And yeah, and with that, 6 years, well, not 6 years, that'd make him 4 years would go by, as it'd be a week after Naruto's birthday, as, well, Kakashi had started training Naruto when he was 4 years, and when he turned 3, as that when the body somewhat chakra network was developed enough for the person to somewhat start actually training in it. And whilst Kakashi knew Uzumaki, well, or at least for Uzumaki, most children, civilian and clan, after journey wait until they're 4 or even 5 years old, to the fact the network doesn't mature as fast. Also, it doesn't develop as fast as an Uzumaki. And, well, yeah, considering their insane life force and chakra capacities, it made sense that they'd start training earlier to have better control once they're older and their reserves are bigger. Yeah. Kakashi knew Naruto would, hands down, would have the most chakra out of anyone, probably even more than even the tailed beasts or the 9-tailed fox inside of him. Which, yeah, that would be insane. And also another thing that would always somewhat celebrate was, besides on Kakashi's birthday, was also somewhat they would celebrate Kakashi's birthday and them somewhat becoming a family. So it's 2 celebrations in one day. And, well, yeah, Kakashi would, his somewhat eternal rival or guy had seen the change in Kakashi. He'd seen how, since Kakashi had looked after Naruto, had adopted him like his little, adopted him, Kakashi had been more lively, hadn't been somewhat dead, just going through the days, day after day after day, stuck in the past. He was living, he was looking towards the future. He was more happier than ever in his life. Yeah, like becoming Genin, Chunin, Jonin didn't compare to how happy he felt every day that he spent with Naruto. Every day was, well, for him, special now. And yeah, even though he was now somewhat Jonin, he was depromoted to Jonin from Anbu to Jonin, from Anbu captain to Jonin. Though Kakashi really couldn't care less. And of course, though, Kakashi, though, would call out Naruto. Would go, Naruto, there's something I need to tell you. As Naruto would look at Kakashi I'm gonna go, what is it? Kakashi. As you'd look at Naruto and go, it's the reason why the villagers hate you. Is Naruto. I should go by them and go, why do they hate me? Well, Kakashi would explain to Naruto about the nine-tailed fox. And well, yeah, that night, 6 years and 1 week ago. Naruto goes, so no, Naruto, you're not the fox. The fox is sealed inside of you. You hold back the fox. Yes. And if you want me to show you or how or what's holding it back, well, lift up your top. Naruto would do that, and Kakashi would then tell him to channel chakra or more chakra in his stomach. Yeah, channel chakra to his stomach, which Naruto would somewhat do, and a seal would appear as Kakashi would go, and that Naruto is what's holding the fox back. Naruto would just somewhat nod and would just be lost on how a couple of squiggly lines could be holding back a giant 60, 70, 100 foot tall beast, nine-tailed fox beast. Yeah, it just didn't make sense how. And yeah, and well, yeah, they would somewhat and Naruto would, well, yeah, well, they'd somewhat speak for a bit longer. I did somewhat have a somewhat plan. That Naruto and Kakashi would somewhat talk about, though I forgot it. Yeah. Anyway, though Kakashi would somewhat, no, Naruto would say, though, who are my parents? Though Kakashi and Naruto would hear a voice. That's a good question. Well, no, Naruto would ask, though, something, and Jiraiya would go, well, that's a good. Well, a voice would say that's a good question, as Kakashi and Naruto would somewhat look up as Naruto would say, Jiraiya, as he'd run over to his Naruto would go grandpa, as he'd run over and somewhat hug Jiraiya would somewhat kneel down to Naruto's level to take the hug, as and go, well, have you been good for Kakashi? As Naruto go, yeah, I'm always good, as Kakashi would somewhat snort and go, you're a prankster. Naruto would go, no, you do it. Kakashi would just stare at Naruto, and Jiraiya would just chuckle. Yeah, even he knew Naruto very much did pull pranks, and and the reason why Kakashi hadn't told Naruto, or somewhat really reprimanded Naruto, was because, in a way, both Kakashi and Jiraiya saw it as, in a way, Naruto getting his own somewhat, in a way, revenge on the village, and as long as it wasn't dangerous, like using explosive tags or anything like that, they weren't really going to stop him, as it got any anger or malice out of him in a much less destructive manner. Because after all, Naruto by now could have very much gone into the deep end and gone, I want to kill the village, and gone insane like Gaara. Yeah. And as well, Kakashi would then go, well, though you wanted to ask me something, didn't you? Well, besides from the obviously why you're hated, you also said something about jutsu as not go. Oh, right, yeah. New jutsu, made new jutsu as Kakashi, and I would look at Naruto and go, oh, what is it? Can you show us? As Naruto would somewhat quickly nod and would do. Yeah, he'd. No. No. No, he wouldn't. Not yet. Though, well, no. And, well, yeah, Dryer would then somewhat tell Naruto who his father was, and Kakashi would tell Naruto who his mother was, and though Kakashi would say, I was always wondering though how Krishna could just make frying pans, rolling pins, appear out of thin air. Seriously, they so damn hurt. They hurt. As Draco would somewhat chuckle and go, yeah, I remember. And I don't even know, seriously, it's odd how she could just magically make utensils appear out of thin air. It's like they were just chocolate constructs, but yeah. Anyway, though, and with that, though, another 4 years would go by, as Naruto would now be 10 years old. And, well, yeah, as Kakashi would go, no, Naruto, I'm not letting you take the Genin exam. So as Naruto go, why? Like, they're not, the academy isn't really helping me in anything. As Kakashi would say, I know, Naruto, but please just, stay in for 2 more years, because then you can graduate with your class. But why? Why, Kashi? Why won't you let me graduate early? As Kakashi would sign and go, well, because you'd be put on a team with two other members, two people who are probably 2 years older than you now, so, and, well, for one, I wouldn't be able to train you. Well, I probably wouldn't be your sensei as Natsuko. You wouldn't be in any way, as isn't there, yes, a law stating that a Jonin cannot have a blood relative on their team. A brother, sister, uncle, aunt, or that somewhat child, but while I am technically your father, whilst you're adopted by me, we're somewhat obviously brothers, and so plus obviously the adopted part, so it probably works differently. Naruto would just go, yeah, fine, but still, why won't you? Like, why won't you? Sure. It's like, because what happens if I'm not your joining sensei? If I'm allowed to, and you are put my team, Naruto. Like, well, yeah, if you are, say, putting, say, like 2 years from now, you could be put on my team, but right now, you wouldn't be. You could be with another team, and obviously if that sensei doesn't like you, sees you for, as Naruto would somewhat look down, but I thought, yes, a lot of the ninja can see you for somewhat who you are, but that's me saying it. I can only say for only a couple of people now. I can't speak for the entire Jonin force. And you could literally have one of those senseis that doesn't like you, and they could literally try and get you killed. And yeah, so please for me, Naruto, for Jiraiya, for the people that care about you, please just wait 2 more years. As Naruto would decide and go, fine, Kakashi. I'll wait. Kakashi would just nod down and breathe out a sigh of relief. As Naruto would go, oh, you have to promise me one thing. As Kakashi would look around and go, what's that? Well, can I, can you have, someone, can you have, the purple-haired, person you, talk to me about, you mean Yugao? Yeah. Can you have Yugao, look after me the next time you're out on one of those long missions? As Kakashi would look at now and go, why is that? Well, I've kind of got a new jutsu she may be able to help me with. As Kakashi would crack an eyebrow and go, well, what is that? As Naruto would go, and then do his hands in the so in the sun and would say transform. As Kakashi would crack an eyebrow. Once the smoke had cleared, Kakashi went wide-eyed as well. Naruto would say, I call this my sexy jutsu. As Naruto would walk over and would somewhat in a voice that held some lust in that would cause Kakashi to just pass out. Well, yeah, he'd somewhat shoot blood out of his nose and would pass out. And Naruto would somewhat laugh as he'd then hear someone knock at the door. As he'd transform back, as he'd open it, as he'd go, Parvy Sage's strode face for it and go, damn it, Gaki, what have I told you about calling me that? Why, you are a self-proclaimed super pervert. As Stride go, somewhat don't know. I'm a super pervert. As not to go see. So you're Parvy Sage is trying somewhat say. And go, damn it, Gaki. As he then somewhat start his some introduction is now to just slam the door on him. As still have to just stare at the door. blinking for a moment before returning back to normal and just knocking on the door again. And then this time the door would open and Naruto would be in his somewhat sexy form. As he'd go, I'm so sorry, mister, but you must have gotten the wrong door. As I'd go, as Naruto could just somewhat just sign his mind and go, damn it, why does all older people why do older people have to be perverts? And yeah, as I'd go, I'm gonna leave now. As he'd somewhat start and Naruto would just burst out somewhat laughing as he'd then he'd dispel jutsu and laugh as I would then hear the laugh and somewhat do a 180 as he'd go, damn it, you Kaki. And yeah, as he'd stomp up and Naruto would just while Jiraiya would somewhat just walk in and he'd see Kakashi on the floor as he'd look at Naruto and Naruto go, what, you wanted to see my jutsu, what I just showed you? As Jiraiya just shake his head in sort of amusement as he has the Naruto had somewhat would kneel down besides Kakashi is a somewhat older brother figure, and he'd try and wake Kakashi up as Kakashi would somewhat shoot up and mumble something and even donuts or that before falling back. Is Naruto would just blink, go, he's asleep. Though after a moment or two they would manage to get Kakashi back conscious as they would be talking for a bit as Jiraiya would then go, wow, Gaki, if you believe that your stuff is so good, then why don't you go into the Hokage's office and go and take the forbidden scroll and bring it to me, bring it here back to Naruto would look at him. He'd know obviously that stealing the forbidden scroll was treasonous, but hey, bringing it maybe to obviously Jiraiya, and that Jiraiya could maybe felt like it was only meant, a test or something like that. Naruto would just nod, and about 10 minutes later, Kakashi and Jiraiya would be waiting outside of Naruto and Kakashi's apartment, as they would see Naruto somewhat walking back, as though Naruto seemed disappointed or sad, not happy, as for Kakashi and Jiraiya would think that he'd been caught and told off and something else. Maybe Naruto would get up and would go, can we go inside? They'd just look at him and would nod as they would enter, and Naruto would unroll a sill, and Jiraiya would go, Naruto, are you? As there'd be puff smoke, and Jiraiya would somewhat stop himself from speaking, as Naruto would then go, here, this is the scroll you described, right? As once the smoke had cleared from the unsealing of the storage, so Kakashi and Jiraiya's eyes would go wide as they would just stare at him, as not go, you did say that it was meant to have the shadow clone, the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Yeah, the name of the Shadow Clone Jutsu, like the first, there's Dry would somewhat just nod as Naruto would hand it to him, and Dry would open the scroll, look over it, shut it, and would go, Dangaki, you're better than I give you credit for. Naruto shock. Man, I just walked in, took it, and walked out. And just stare at Naruto in disbelief. And, well, yeah. And with that, I'm gonna end it here, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this, or at least liked it. And yeah, of course, if you haven't liked it, tell me in the comments down below that you've enjoyed it. And well, yeah, and also tell me, guys, if you guys would like this to, become a series. Yeah. Well, yeah, like you guys may want part 2. Yeah, so tell me if you want a part 2 and this to somewhat become a series, as I somewhat do have obviously ideas and what to do later on. And yeah, anyway, guys, yeah, stay safe. Well, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you guys have a good day or night, depending on whenever you are and whatever time you are watching this at, be it day or night. So yeah, have a good day or night, depending on whenever you are, and well, stay safe and good. Bye.